Give me how she had an unfair advantage of boobs.
The unfair advantage of boobs comes from my. I got boobs stacated from my wife. She uses her boobs to get what she wants. She wanted to win, therefore she cheated. She cheated, and I did not lose. I just didn't win.
Okay, hang on. Okay, you've been
Okay,
married a long time,
yeah.
and I feel weird that I have to do this, but since we are now streaming, for everyone listening, this is Uncle Brian, Uncle B, giving you life lessons if your partner has boobs. If you ever want to see and or touch them again, do not criticize the unfair advantage of the boobs. Just be glad they're there. That sometimes, occasionally, they're friendly towards you, and of course, she uses them to get what she wants because that's kind of what they're there for. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So again, in case your wife is listening, Bradley does not know what of which he speaks. He did not accidentally mean to criticize your boobs. And no, he no, he does not. You know what? Fine. Fine. So this is one of those times that Bradley, your wife may go under the bed and slowly pull out that box while you're while you're downstairs doing a podcast, and you may find yourself replaced with something with a USB cord or D batteries. Just throwing it out there.
All right. With that being
Yes,
said,
yes.
yes.
See, yeah.
Hey Brian, what was your TV show and movie or movie for the week? Movie
I
of
did
the
not
week.
have a movie of the week. My TV show of the week, while I wanted it to be Picard, or I
Hmm.
wanted it to be like the ones we normally throw up, 1923,
Hmm.
Mayor of Kingstown. I actually had to give this one to, and I don't know if you watch it, Carnival Row. They had
What?
a Carnival Row dropped with two
Yeah.
episodes. The first season of Carnival Row is really hit and miss for me.
Hmm.
The second season, I don't know if they have a new writing crew or what, but the first two episodes of season two just are fantastic. So Carnival Row got my show of the week.
Nice, man. I was gonna watch. I just realized that it's season two started, and I just haven't had time yet this weekend due to work and everything. It was a busy weekend at work with Ant
Sure,
Man,
sure, sure. I
which
bet.
which leads me to my movie of the week,
I figured.
Ant Man and the Wasp. I tell you what, like Last of Us was a contender.
Sure.
Picard was definitely a contender.
Yes.
However, man, it was man, Ant Man and the Wasp. It got a lot of hate. And I haven't read really a lot of the reviews for it.
I haven't
Um,
seen it yet, so hence I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I'm gonna probably hope to see it next week. Yeah. So, but you enjoyed it.
yeah, I loved it, man. I tell you what, without any spoilers, watch it. It's
Hmm.
fun, and I tell you what, they actually make Giant Man matter.
So this may delve into spoilers, so feel free not to ask it. Are you talking Giant Man as Scott Pym? I mean, as Scott Lang Giant Man, or Giant Man meaning the Lawrence Fishburne character, who was actually Goliath,
Mhm.
but could be called Giant Man? Are we talking Scott Giant Man or Lawrence Fishburne Giant Man?
We are talking Scott Lang.
Perfect, perfect,
Yes.
perfect. By the way, I really was hoping we get more Lawrence Fishburne
Hmm.
and or Ghost. Like we saw them kind of leave at the end of Ant-Man 2 and just never. I mean, she's cured, but
Yeah.
now that may be a great one for again Marvel, because we know you're listening. If they could somehow find a way to incorporate Ghost into the new set of Avengers, I co-sign that one big time.
She's gonna be part of Thunderbolts.
Oh well, there we go.
Yeah.
Never mind
Yeah.
then. They have a
And
plan.
and you know who's gonna be leading the Thunderbolts?
Hmm. Thank you for my gauntlet, my Infinity Cup, because it is never empty, ladies and gentlemen. It is it's Baron, correct?
No,
No, who is it?
it is one Bucky Barnes.
See, okay, he's Bucky. I get that, and I can see the
Mhm.
the reclamation story, him leading the ones that you still trying to find their way. Okay, all right, but I would have wanted a little more for Sebastian Stan, but it's okay. It's all right. I'm still hoping for a Sebastian Stan Cable arm wrestling match. That's really what I'm wanting. I'm wanting to see Cable
Over the top.
versus Winner. Yes, yeah. And all you gotta do is flip the thumb.
Yeah.
It's the thumb. Like even when you're losing, even when all the physics and the angle is against you, all you gotta do is flip your thumb, and put the lip out, and one of these, you know, and by the way, while we both love that's got to be a movie here in a minute is Over the Top. But here's the other thing I never said about Over the Top: custody agreement. Like for all the romance of the movie, right?
Yeah.
For all the fight between Grandpa and because didn't he, like, if I remember the movie plot correctly, he does sign away his parental rights. So winning the tournament and driving off in a nice truck with a hawk on the hood is a really great ending. And like any Stallone movie, it has great soundtracks, but I think he kidnapped his kid. I think that's I think Over the Top. I think he really kidnaps his kid.
I think I need to rewatch Over the Top because I don't remember any of that.
Okay. By the way, because the TikTok algorithm started feeding me, and I can't remember if I sent it to you or not, but did I send you the TikTok where they can show that Goonies and oh gosh, Goonies and Back to the Future happen on the same weekend?
No.
Yes, Goonies. Like if the kind, I mean, there's no doubt that they happen literally the same weekend. Because the date of Back to the Future given what's in the DeLorean.
DeLorean, yeah.
If you look at just different information they talk about, so the year's set for Goonies, but if you look, they talk about, hey, it's got to be, and they talk about you can decipher it's got to be the month and week because there's a poster behind Brown. He's doing sit-ups. The only thing that you're trying to figure out is what day of the week it may be. They're all school age, and none of them are in school. So it has to be the weekend. It will have to be. So given that, Back to the Future and Goonies literally happen the same weekend.
This is amazing. I love that. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and hit the music. Welcome to the Fandemic Presents PreVenge of the Nerds. We are your one-stop podcast. Every week, we are going to give you all the things to level up your awesome. You can also order my kids' book, Leveling Up My Awesome, and Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders on Amazon. And contact me if you want autographed copies for a little bit more. That's than on the Amazon. So this is how the shows are going to go. We are going to tell you the stories that could have led to your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. That will be part one. Then the following week, we are going to tell you the after credit scene. Yes, that will be the stories that could have happened after the story was told. That will be part two. I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and this is my co-host, the unverified twin of Shamar Moore, at least in the nipples, the unverified twin of Dwayne the Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, and the unverified twin of Dave Batista in the head wrinkles.
And my head wrinkles, though, look like the map of Middle Earth, because I am Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for the Omega Man.
Very, very good. Welcome to the Fan Time. We are streaming live on the Facebook, on the YouTube, and on the Twitch. So don't forget to like, share, hit all the buttons that remind you on all the platforms. Don't forget to tell all your nerdy friends as well, and level up. They're awesome. They will thank you.
And Bradley, as we're talking a bit about how we prevent things, just remember, if you're trying to remember the flow of the show, remember, if one doesn't get it done, two will.
Yes. Yes, it will. It's almost like when you're home alone and you go into your parents' room and to explore, because that's what people do, right? They explore in their parents' room. And
Almost like you're searching for your one-eyed Willie.
right. Yeah. Oh man, yes, yes, yes. Oh, hey, look, hey, we have some friends. We have some friends commenting in. Hi, Crystal, and my mom said hi.
Hi, Mom. That has changed the flow of tonight's episode a
It
little bit.
definitely did. Crystal will be on the episode of the Fandemic that is popping up this coming up Wednesday, where I talk to Harlow's Haunt. I talked to Amy Rolfson, Crystal Gorski, and Terry Jarrell, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. We talked about the making the movie, all sorts of good fun stuff. You should definitely check out Harlow's Haunt. Also, there'll be a TikTok coming up this week for it as well. I had a horror movie icon pop in there as well, so more to come on that a little bit later.
Hey.
Yes, it was awesome. That man, that I had so much fun on that podcast. We had so much fun, dude. So what's new, Brian?
Well, same old thing. Busy, busy, busy. Looking forward to the best part of my week, which is Learning About Awesome. And as always, this is Black History Month. And for all of our kidding aside, remember that Black history is American history. So, along with that, we are going to pick up where we left off. We took off a week due to this thing with a ball and sports, and Rihanna was there. Some
Or
type
maybe
of
that was a clone. That could have been a clone.
that could have been a clone. And have we verified whether or not the baby bump is related to Nick Cannon? Because I think America needs to know.
I mean,
America needs to know.
I just thought it was weird because we had all the UFOs flying around and then the football, so.
And by the way, for any ladies and gentlemen, remember, it's all fun and games if someone carries a white balloon.
Yes, man. At least it's not red by a sewer, right?
You know what? That might be safer at this point. That might
might.
actually be safer. I might take my chances with Pennywise. I really might. Who would you rather be kidnapped by, Pennywise or triple threat, as we usually do?
Okay.
Pennywise, Krusty the Clown, or Homie D Clown.
Homie D Clown, man.
Right,
dude.
Just have a good time.
Absolutely,
just have a good time.
Man, I would be in awe. I mean, I would probably be bruised because because homie don't say
homie
that.
Don't play that. Homie does not play that.
Right.
That homie does not play. Absolutely. If Yoda was saying it. Yes.
Yeah. And but yeah, absolutely.
You just feel like you would hit the club with homie. Like you go to a bar, have a good time, have some cigars, some other things, just chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like Krusty, Krusty's kind of broken. And Pennywise is, again, just too busy in the sewer. Like, dude, can we go upstairs?
Well, and selfish too. I mean, like they're all more about them and gruesome death and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think your chances of survival
are
going to be best with homie as well. So
not unless you're pulled over by the cops.
There, yeah. Brian,
yes.
What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about, because again, celebrating Black History Month, we're gonna just take a movie, talk a little bit about it, and then do some follow-ups with stars, some filmography things. In part 2, we're gonna kick it off by talking about Sir William Smith, and I have a challenge for both of us, Bradley, to get through the show without mentioning that fairly recent moment that happened at the Oscars. So we will not go there. At least we'll attempt. Okay.
All right.
Because again, we got somebody that don't play that. Okay. But we're gonna talk about Will Smith, specifically his movie from 2007, I Am Legend, which, as Bradley is, as I aspire to be, but as Will Smith will forever be, I Am Legend.
Yes, and we're going to start this off with sneak peek of the new show that you'll be in your feeds very, very soon called a Lone Star Reviews. So I scoured and I found a 1-star review of I Am Legend. So here's what we're going to do. Brian and I are going to, or I'm going to read it. Brian has no idea what it is. And I picked this by the title alone. And we're going to kind of dig into it for just a second here. And
Absolutely.
we'll see what happens. Brian, are you ready?
You know, as I'm always ready for the 1 stars. Let's do it.
So this was titled I Am Waste of Time and Money. All right. Now, warning, spoilers for
Are you
all
sure
you.
this isn't an Andor review?
Yeah, it could go either way.
Okay. Just making sure, you know.
I Am Legend is a very predictable story of what happens when an engineered cure for cancer turns malign. Malign? Yeah, I'm gonna read it how it says. The resulting virus, which mostly resembles rabies, kills most of the population worldwide, except for some 500 million that turn into, of course, a sort of werewolves that feed on the remaining millions that are immune. This in itself is a very worn out and unrealistic theme by now, and the werewolf angle only make it silly. Our hero is living in the remains of a big city, New York. And luckily for
Like the
us,
biggest city? Yeah. Okay.
and luckily for us, he is a biological engineer working for the military. In his house, he has a laboratory, upside down question mark, to find a cure, which he
What
has
are they
time for.
questioning that is the lab, but he's trying to find a cure? I don't understand what the question mark has to do with this.
Don't know.
Please continue. Please continue.
When he is not out shooting deer, dogs, and wolves, or is engaged in another boring activity, the dramatic height of the movie is when his dog dies.
Pause. So shooting deer and fighting off dogs, their words, and or wolves, boring.
Yeah, yep, yep,
Okay, all right. We'll keep pushing. All right.
yeah. Which had about the same impact on me as when I see I stepped on ant. Boring. There is hardly any character development, and well, it's Will Smith, which usually plays Will Smith. The acting is mediocre at best. Oh, I'm sorry, at beast. The camera work.
Multiple Oscar nominated, Oscar winning. This was before he won, but again, Will Smith. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I know you said we couldn't say it, but anyway.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. It was kind of like I've never seen someone get that much applause before they win the award. It was and it was like a slow applause. Like it
Right.
was just like,
It's like a hit. It hitches. It
well, he's
hitches
had a
someone.
lot of hits. He
Yeah,
has
yeah.
all the hits.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
hits. Yes. Because it's almost like he got jiggy with it.
Right. I mean, or maybe he got rocked. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, but
that new dance, summertime, summertime. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Maybe it's the Men in Black. All right. Anyway, the camera
Or the
work.
Men in Backhand.
Ooh. Okay. We didn't make it very long, did we?
No.
The camera work is less than mediocre. There are too many scenes that play in the dark. So you can just guess what's going on, which is not so hard because it's all terribly predictable. They spent way too much money on the making of this movie for it look so bad. It may be nice if you live in NY to see what your city should become, but to me that mean nothing. And why is there a Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird on an aircraft carrier? The thing can't land there, and they've been out of use for quite a while now. Edit. I found it is Intrepid Sea Airspace Museum in New York. Nice if you live in New York and know these things, otherwise useless. And edit. I watch a movie to see nice images, not 15 minutes of utter darkness. The end comes pretty hastily, I'm sorry, with a few narrated lines that should give the whole thing meaning. Should, but doesn't. Along the way, there are a few lines that attempt to give it some depths. I can't talk. As in philosophical truths of meaning of which the best is. I didn't do it. We did. I want reply. No, really, you did. I think they tried to copy the I Robot feel style with the music of Bob Marley. Was Stevie Wonder in I Robot? And they added an antidote of Bob to give it some depth. Bob was a great at making music, but that doesn't imply he was a great philosopher. In the Netherlands, we have Johan Cruyff. Maybe you heard of him, an ex great soccer player who tends to say things in the media. So now he is quoted for his wise saying, every disadvantage has its advantage, pronounced with Amsterdam accent for dramatic effect. It goes to
Thank you,
show,
because when it's written, I couldn't understand. I'm sorry I missed the Amsterdam accent.
yeah,
Yes.
goes to show that someone great in one field isn't necessarily great in another. As for humor,
Such as writing reviews.
there isn't any. I think they tried a few times. I wanted to save the bacon, but no. Very, very disappointing movie. I even wanted to. I'm sorry. I even want to stop watching a number of times, but didn't because I kept hoping a movie with Will Smith in it would get better at some point. It only got worse. My advice: you can miss this one. There are a lot better movies already made about virus outbreaks and apocalypse. Watch one of these again. Saves money and is less boring. Unless, of course, you want to be apocalyptically bored. All right, man.
Wow.
So first of all, does that review have any validity?
Uh, none. No. Okay. The one thing that they said was valid is that for the majority of his movies, Will Smith kind of does play Will Smith. All
Mhm.
right. There are some definite differences. King Richard, the Ali biopic, I would say Pursuit of Happiness. When he's playing basically autobiographical roles, he tends to absorb those people. But when it's been, in more of his really fictitious roles,
Mhm.
Hancock, the Men in Black series, and yes, even in I Am Legend, there is some validity, some reality that he kind of plays different versions of himself. However, one of the biggest stars on the planet, most recent controversy even included, still one of the biggest stars on the planet, he must be doing something right. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna take not issue with the review, because all reviews, you
Mhm.
know what, give your opinion. But there are a few things about the review that kind of stuck with me. Number one, they were looking for the comedy in a movie that's post-apocalyptic.
Mhm.
Probably doesn't work so well. Secondly, they pointed out that so much of the movie happens in the dark. The reason that so many part of the movie happens in the dark is that the virus doesn't turn people into werewolves. The virus turns people based on the book. Either did you know there's a book, by the way? Whoever wrote
Mhm.
this review, either into vampiric type creatures, or maybe zombies.
Yeah.
Either one of those, you could drive closer parallel than werewolves.
Mhm.
So if you have creatures, which in the movie and in the book is called dark seekers, guess what? They seek out the dark. So if you're in a place that they are, it's going to be dark. The idea with Marley the dog, I'm sorry, that's going to come in part of my review. But Marley the dog, losing the dog, okay, is a thing. And then the other part of it is something about Stevie Wonder versus the Bob Marley.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay,
get that.
yeah, the dog is named Marley after Bob Marley, hence the Bob Marley music. When, yeah, so again, couldn't quite I mean Samantha, excuse me. So he
Yeah.
named his daughter Marley after Bob Marley, who he played so much music. And then the idea that the dog Sam, which we find out in a great dramatic scene, I think, that the dog is female, which for some reason it tugs at our hearts a little different. That the dog is female when we thought probably the dog is male, given the name Sam. When he calls out her name as Samantha. The movie though is extremely well done.
Mhm.
It's especially for a post-apocalyptic, again, whether you want to say vampires or zombies, there's shades of both and how the dark seekers are represented. And for something that's not to be, it has no George Romero attached to it. And of the different remakes, again, we'll get to some of the other things with the Dirty Deets. This was probably the best interpretation of the source material. But everyone is vowed to have that. But I'm sorry, writer of this, and I'm sorry I don't know the Amsterdam footballer who gives us such great nuggets. Such as I think every challenge is an opportunity. I get a feeling he's probably got that from someplace else. I got to give you of the 5 shots of haterade. I'm going to break the scale and give you 6.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, like, my big thing, but was the dog is this was his family. I mean, like, this was
After everything else, this is who he had.
right.
Absolutely.
This was all that he had left
Yes.
of his family. So,
And he
yeah,
loses the dog because the dog saves his life. That was how, again, if you don't know the movie, we're talking more about some of the deets of it. In this version of the book, in I Am Legend, of the movie I Am Legend, which is actually named after the actual book,
mhm,
human beings, he is, as she said, he's immune. Dogs are immune from catching it through the air. They are not immune from getting it from bites.
yeah,
So when Samantha the dog, saves his life and then is bitten, he knows that chances are she's going to turn and have to be put down. He has her sitting on his lap. He tries a version of the antidote. It doesn't work. And they did a great job of giving us what happens off screen. He's
mhm,
sitting on his floor in his lab, holding the dog. She's beginning to growl. He's having to forcefully hold her. And then what happens, and he protects himself, but Samantha unfortunately is done for the movie, and they shoot that in a way,
mhm,
and he commits to that moment in a way that if you are an animal lover, especially if you're a dog lover, has to tug at your heartstrings.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
again, 1 star, lone star, no stars. You're getting 6 shots of haterade from me.
You know what? I'm going to concur with that. Well, I will give it the 6 shots of haterade out of 5. All right.
Cheers to you.
Awesome, man. All right. So, with that being said, I want to hear your honest ad.
It is time for an honest ad. Now, I am going to give you an honest ad or an honest movie trailer for I Am Legend, but I'm going to do it well to see if you can pick up what I'm putting down. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
Now, this is a story all about how the world got flipped, turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, and I'll tell you how I became a legend that no one could scare. In New York, I was born and raised. Studying viruses where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, getting straight A's all throughout school. When Emma Thompson, Nanny McPhee, she began manipulating with the measles and the spots that we see. A cure for cancer and better health, we were told, but dark seekers and the end of the world began to unfold. I'm immune in shape and a doctor to boot. During evacuation, I begged the soldiers, please don't shoot. Found the cure, but lost my family, and that ain't fair. But that's how I became the legend that no one could scare.
Very awesome, man.
Growth through stupidity, sir.
I love it. That was amazing. Well done. That just won you the episode, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. And as always, Bradley, keep nothing. Never mind. I was gonna say keep your review out of your mouth, but that's not gonna work. Okay.
Very good. All right, bud. With that, bud, let's go ahead and are you ready to get into the pre-venge? territory.
I do have some PreVenge, and after we PreVenge it, I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask you about the movie.
All right, sounds good. Let's hit a little bit of that music.
Get your earphones in, everybody, and everybody hear us out. We are Brad Pvotn and Brian Dennis, and this is Pvotn. We've got my dad leveling up your awesomeness, dropping knowledge of TV, movies, and comics. We've got Brian Dennis flexing his nerd muscles. How you level up your awesomeness? He will solve the puzzle. Just when you thought you've heard it all, a new episode will come along. Won't you like, subscribe, and rate our show? One last thing. Leave a 5-star review before you go. Oh yeah!
All right, now with all of that being said, all right, Brian.
Sir.
So do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'll go first before I hop into my PreVenge. I want to share a few dirty deets about the movie.
That's right. I forgot about that.
No worries. So as we talked before, the movie came out in 2007, and the primary star of the cast was one Will Smith. But here's some little known facts about it. So Bradley, did you know that I Am Legend is actually based off of a book
I did.
named I Am Legend? Came out in 1954.
Mm-hmm.
I Am Legend is actually the third adaptation of that book. Can you name one of the other two versions?
Outbreak.
No.
No?
No. No. How about The Omega Man with Charleston Heston?
Interesting. Okay.
Came out in 71, and then the first version came out in 64, called The Last Man on Earth. I have seen The Omega Man. I have not seen The Last Man on Earth, but comparing Omega Man to I Am Legend is both a better overall movie and much more related to the source material. Also, in the film, Will Smith's daughter is named Marley. Marley is played by the whip her hair master herself, one Willow Smith, his actual real daughter. And Brian, I get the feeling you have probably seen this. Most of us in the Nerdverse are aware of this. But if you watch the movie carefully, there actually can be seen, because it takes place in New York City, and there is a dilapidated version of Times Square with leftover advertisement. There's actually an ad for Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
And it is the actual poster that you see for the movie that comes out several years later with the Bat logo with the S or the Hope symbol over the Bat logo. So obviously there are some thoughts or in production there. The movie actually has an alternate ending. Bradley, have you seen the alternate ending for I Am Legend?
Yes, but it has been a long time ago.
The biggest difference in the I Am Legend alternate ending, which is going to matter here in a moment, is, again, spoiler alert if you don't want to know this, but instead of in the original ending, Dr. Neville dies via suicide to push away the Dark Seekers. He takes a grenade, blows himself and the Dark Seekers up, while his companions escape with the cure and find the military and the other survivors. In the alternate ending, instead of that occurring, he actually realizes that the Dark Seekers, or the leader, the alpha male, is trying to get back the alpha female who he had taken the test cures upon. So he actually goes out with her and gives her back to the clan, the crew, the group. There's a standoff between Dr. Neville and the alpha male, but they leave them in peace. Here's why that matters. Because in the alternate ending, he doesn't die, which leads to the upcoming I Am Legend 2 and how he is actually alive to be in the sequel along with Apollo Creed himself, Adonis Creed himself, our boy Killmonger, the one, the only, Michael B. Jordan. And the original title, I believe they're just going with I Am Legend 2. But the original title for the sequel was going to be A Garden at the End of the World. So there are some dirty deets and some little known facts about I Am Legend.
Nice, man. I dig it. Very good.
All right. So here's my PreVenge scenario. Are you ready, sir?
Lay it on me, buddy.
All right. So, Bradley, are you familiar with a couple movies in Will Smith's filmography known as Independence Day and Independence Day Resurgence?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
And like anything else, sometimes we talk all the time on the show, if your plan is a trilogy, you stop at 2. Sometimes when your plan is a sequel,
stop at 1.
Stop at 1.
Yeah.
But because there's 2, we're going to use both of them. So a couple things that came out of the first movie, Independence Day, and the sequel, Independence Day Resurgence, which is also, if you're Vivica Fox, they don't want to pay your rate, they're going to have it top of a building to fall. Okay. Yeah, and Will, they're just going to like you're dead. Okay. So with that, though, here's a couple lessons we learned from those movies. Number 1, humans defeat the alien invasion in Independence Day. And what they do as a result of that, they start to integrate all this alien tech in human society. They find the ESD, which is the governmental branch that's actually ran by the character played by Jeff Goldblum. And they actually start bases on the moon, on Mars, and Rhea. If you don't know what Rhea is, it's the largest moon of Saturn. Now, here's where the things become interesting. We learn in the sequel that the aliens, number 1, have a hive mind, and they can be telepathically linked to humans. So not only can they receive information from humans, such as mind reading, they also send information back. In Independence Day Resurgence, the major moment in the movie and how we defeat the aliens a second time is that we kill by Thor's little brother, Miley's ex. By the way, remember, she can buy herself flowers. But with that being said, they kill the queen, and because of the hive mind, the queen dies, all the other aliens die. But here is my PreVenge scenario. The queen can see the end coming. And while she may not be able to overpower the human beings now, she may be able to lay the seeds for humanity to destroy itself. So her last act before dying is she sends a telepathic message to Dr. Alice Crippen, who is played by Emma Thompson, who is the scientist who, through some great inspiration, figures out how to manipulate the measles virus to cure cancer. What if that is actually a message that the queen of the aliens sends to Dr. Crippen before she dies, the doctor not knowing that she's telepathically linked? She would have been exposed to the aliens during the original movies. She takes as her own and begins to re-engineer the measles virus, which is meant to bring about humanity's destruction, which lays the track for I Am Legend.
Very well done. I love it. I love how you just brought it full circle from Independence Day. Very, very good. And when you talk about Independence Day, this is where Lone Star decides to become president of the United States.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's that damn blackberry jam. I tell you what.
But we also learned that, sometimes the stripper actually is saving money for medical school.
You already won this episode, buddy. That was good.
Sometimes in reality, you're paying that medical school tuition in all ones, and you just had to, take care of it for your, you do it for the baby, you do it for the kids. Do it for the kids,
yeah.
And nothing happens to kids who grow up. Like, there's no shame. He accepted his mom, shook for dollar bills, y'all.
Right. I mean, he definitely went under his mom's bed and found a box.
with a bunch of sweaty ones, you know, gave her a dolphin ring, and there was some album by Harry Connick Jr. for some strange reason,
It's a wicked
you
game,
know.
man.
Yeah, you know what they needed? I wanted to see somehow the Black Knights going up against Maverick and his crew. That's what I wanted. And in all seriousness, an understated, unrecognized performance. Harry Connick Jr. was really good in Independence Day. He was really good in Independence Day. But by the way, here's my impression: Jimmy, no, he blew up, man. He blew up.
Right? Yeah.
He blew up. Look, I'm gonna try something, because that's the moment you want to go off script. When the aliens shooting, as Will would say, the green shit. When the aliens are right behind you and you're overmatched, that's when you're gonna just try something, right? Yeah. And remember, Bradley, when all else fails, you put your mask on, Marine.
Absolutely. All right, man. I like it. Here's what I got is I just wrote a little synopsis here.
I would love it.
I'll just read it for you. So,
is it?
The prequel to I Am Legend. This is going to tell the story of the outbreak that actually led to the apocalypse, right? So this is, the beginning stages. So the story would follow Dr. Robert Neville, working for the government, who discovers the virus and eventually wipes out all of humanity. He struggles to find a cure. He becomes increasingly isolated from his family and friends, becomes to witness the gradual collapse of society. And then we would take us through, what all that looks like, right?
Sure.
And then it would be the political and social factors that contributed to the outbreak, including actions by the government. There'd be some, there'll be parts where the government could have done something, but it was too late.
Wait, are you saying there's a stance when the government has a clear path for supporting people and they don't do that?
Yep.
Wow. When you said science fiction, you really leaned into the fiction part, sir.
Right. So it would just kind of delve into the emotional and psychological part of witnessing the world fall apart, knowing how it all ends. And that's kind of where I'd go with it. It'd be, we've had some practices as society in the recent years that I think it would kind of lend itself a little bit to it. Just not
it's a dash, yes,
right. So that's kind of what I was thinking, man.
If only when the world falls apart and we're really sick, if only there was some secret organization that has been around, that has advanced tech, that maybe because of their particular job, they dress in a certain type of uniform, and and they have all this great technology. They've got little guns that maybe kind of like a loud cricket, or maybe noisy and they have a little flashy thingy to make someone's memory go away, and they are them. They are they. If they're only maybe dressed in, I don't know what. I'm not white, not blue, not green.
I mean, I think you need to blend into the darkness.
What color What? I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. Like
dark blue doesn't do it, but I'm thinking
no, not quite there yet.
Maybe not light, but the absence of light. I don't.
Black.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Boom.
And remember, black don't crack.
We are the men in black.
And sometimes we're women. But yes, absolutely. By the way, why has Elon Musk, if you want people to really like you, don't buy Twitter. Make a neuralizer. Make a neuralizer.
Well said. Yeah.
Or, as I like to call a neuralizer, vodka.
See, I stay away from the vodka. Vodka and I aren't very good friends.
They may be my bestie, sir.
Nice. Vodka can kick my ass pretty hard. It's I too many nights in the Air Force. Vodka
there you go.
won.
There you go. Vodka remains undefeated. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes. Vodka remains every time.
Because again, all I had to do was flip the thumb, and and then you get the pop. And by the way, little boys and girls, in more than one situation, if you're not getting where you want to go, use the thumb.
Yes. Oh, buddy. All right. So, Brian,
Yes, sir.
you got a tap for me, don't you?
I do. I've got a couple of different scenarios I want to throw out for you. So I'm just curious for your thoughts. I got three. All right. So when you're ready, here we go. So first off, if the world is coming to an end and you have to be led by an individual from the apocalypse when the world's falling apart, and you had to pick who's going to lead your party from danger to safety, here are your options. I want to know who you pick and why.
Okay, so who's going to be the Rick Grimes?
You know what? Okay, real quick. I have never disliked the character more than Rick Grimes. I just started the last season of The Walking Dead, so don't tell me. But but after like season 3, I was so over Rick. Like I was like, why doesn't Daryl just kill him?
I mean, Negan. I like Negan was so much better.
Dude, Negan's my okay.
Yeah.
First off, is Jeffrey Morgan.
Right.
Okay, you know, and he was giving me all the comedian vibes, like giving me everything. The losers, like, how is Jeffrey Morgan not? By the way, speaking of someone that needs to be in either DCU or the MCU, how does he not have a major that voice, that look? Like,
I mean,
unless you're where?
He is. I mean, he's Batman's dad. He's dead.
Yeah, but
so Flashpoint, Thomas Wayne. I mean, they could easily do Thomas Wayne.
That's what I mean, that's what you know.
Or Batman Beyond.
Yes. By the way, there's nothing more that reminds me how bad George Clooney was than seeing Michael Keaton. Like it's like that was just reminding me of how bad. I mean, Kilmer was middle ground, but just reminded us how bad George Clooney was. Like, yeah. All right.
I'm Batman.
Okay. I'm Batman. Yeah. And again, to give him credit, he goes, hey, his familiarity with the character was the 60s TV show. He didn't get it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy's won some Academy Awards. He obviously has some talent out there. He just wasn't a very good Batman.
And a Ticket to Paradise.
Yes. All right, sir. So here we go. The taps. All right. So back to who's going to lead us, and it will not be George Clooney. Okay. All right. So we have Joel from The Last of Us, Gary Lane from World War Z, Brad Pitt, or Dr. Robert Neville. Who are you betting to lead us out and help us find safety? Who's going to get us again? Who's going to be the Rick Grimes, but someone that we actually give a damn about? Who's going to be that?
Joel, Last of Us.
Joel. Why Joel?
Because he cares deeply.
He knows this. He knows the way.
He knows the way. Yes,
he knows the way. Yeah.
Yes. And he is better, more stealthy, and I think he would be more effective than the others, than Gary.
Okay.
And Pedro's just way cooler.
He is super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
I would say I was gonna go with Gary Lane because I really enjoy World War Z. It's one of my favorite zombie movies. Other than Brad Pitt had the soccer bomb haircut and he kept having to put his hair behind his ears. Kind of lost me a little bit there. All right. And Robert Neville's a doctor. You know, if they ever have a chin up contest, I'm absolutely going with Robert Neville. Okay.
Right.
All right. So that leads to question 2. Not necessarily a tap, but just a poll for you. What is your favorite zombie post-apocalyptic movie? There's lots of them that have been out, the different spins on it, and none of them really involve werewolves, by the way.
I know.
But if you had to pick your favorite movie that's about we have done it to ourselves finally. What did you have a favorite?
Mad Max.
Very cool. The original?
Yeah, Thunderdome, man. Thunderdome. Okay.
All right. Nice. So, by the way, we both are wrestling fans. How on earth how they've got to be paying, the Elimination Chamber, how are they not paying some type of restitution for that? And actually, WCW back then actually had a match called the Thunderdome. I think they got sued for that. But okay, Mad Max. All right. I can feel you. I gotta go old school. The original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Just the levels of Ada cast was just so fantastic. And then just the levels of the meanings, with consumerism, just so much greatness there. So I gotta go old school a little bit. And then my final one is, which one is more likely to give you a little ocular perspiration? Because here at the PreVenge Nerds, we don't cry.
That's right.
We're far too manly for that. But we do, but we do have our fair share of ocular perspiration. So which of these two events would be more likely to spark that? A, Marley the dog, which we talked about earlier, or John Wick's puppy?
Oh, damn. John Wick's puppy.
Fair. Why?
Because the setup for it. I mean, like, you got it at the end of I Am Legend, but in this, it was kind of like the whole driving point of everything that happens for the now 4 movies, because number 4 comes out here pretty soon.
Yep.
And that's like, that set everything off.
You don't kill the Baba Yaga's dog. You don't steal his car, but you really don't mess with his puppy.
Yeah.
You really don't mess with his puppy.
But I mean, that one was tough. I mean, it just, I think if knowing what you know about the dog earlier, I think that would have changed things.
Right. I feel you. But just the setup with the puppy, which I don't even know if he actually gave the puppy a name, but the setup with all that and just everything that happens, especially again, it's after they stole the car and all the things. And again, you just don't pee off the Baba Yaga. So by the way, which one of you is a scarier Baba Yaga? John Wick or Ghost from Ant-Man, from Ant-Man 2, actually?
Who's the scarier?
Yeah, who's the scarier Baba Yaga? John Wick or Ghost?
John Wick, man. I got to give it to Keanu, dude. Just because he's Keanu. I think that's. I mean, Keanu wins. It's like saying Batman, right? I mean, it's like Batman's gonna win.
And of the name we've kicked around, because you probably see the same articles I've seen with James Gunn going, there will definitely be a new Batman. God, could you imagine Keanu?
I mean, he already is. He was Batman in DC Superhero Pets.
Okay, the live action Keanu. Okay, with pick what I'm putting down here, sir.
I do. Can you see
him? Yeah, can you see him with the cowl? And
absolutely. I think he would make a good Batman. I would rather him take up the cowl of Batman than do another Constantine movie. And I want to know.
I loved him as Constantine. I'm about to say I loved him as Constantine.
Yeah, man. I mean, fantastic. I mean, great. And I know he wants to do it too. So
yeah. And here's the best part of the new Constantine movie: they do not have to include Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
they literally closed the casket on that character, and he flew off in heaven or wherever he wound up, and we're good. But I want Gabe. But if they really do a sequel, which I hope they do, I want Gabriel. I want Peter Stormare as the devil. And just let him be John Wick. And maybe they can have him vape. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
He put down the cigarettes, but the chewing gum ain't gonna last for so long.
Right.
This Wick vaping. All right.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe Snoop Dogg can be his vape salesperson.
Oh, dude, that'd be so cool.
Let's get a DLG in there. Give him a little love. All right.
Oh, absolutely. That's
okay,
cool.
Sir. Well, you have answered all of my think about this, our discussion questions. Sir, do you have anything more for us? Or is it time to move to our Better Than Us Human of the Week?
Better Than Us Human of the Week.
Please, sir. You go first.
You know what? I got nothing. I got nothing. Go ahead.
Gotta love it. Just, who's your Better Than Us Human of the Week? No.
Let's see here. I forgot.
No worries. I would gladly pick it up. I'll start off then. All right, so I got to give
Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I'll do. I'll do Kansas
Patrick
City
Mahomes.
Chiefs.
There you
Patrick
go.
Mahomes.
Yes. We're proof that bad hair can still lead to good football play. Yes,
I have some now.
I take your haircut um over his. By the way, Bradley, I gotta give credit to your sister. I was
Mm.
actually. Did she tell you that? Did she tell you about this?
No, I talked to her for a few minutes earlier
I
today
was.
too.
I was at a with my day job. I was at a meeting. It's been 2 weeks ago now.
Hmm.
And your sister was dropping our podcast to different people in the meeting. In fact, I had people come up to me and ask me about the podcast, and I shared the link. So
Nice.
she was sharing. Yes, yes, big sis. Let it be known. Yes, and she also shared that any story that she tells. That I hear about her from you is not true, but every story that Patty tells me about you is 100% true. So
Uh, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll go there. But yes, yes. So give a shout out to your sister Patty. Thank you so much for the love and for mentioning the podcast.
Yes, much love, sis.
So she can be your better than us human of the week. Uh,
I'll take that.
my better than us human of the week is gonna be my mom, Dorothy Dennis. So her birthday was. So we're recording on February 19th. Her birthday was 2 days ago on February 17th. I usually try and be very silly on Facebook, but I put a very heartfelt post about her on Fridays. I do every year for her heavenly birthday. Mom, you were fantastic. You gave me a lot of love, a lot of encouragement, and as I tell anyone that asks me, you gave me just enough trauma to make me funny. And thank you, Mom. She also taught me this lesson. While I love you to death, Mom, while I did not find a box under the bed, I did find a drawer, and I was not prepared.
To see
I
that
was
side of
not
your
prepared.
mom.
Or my dad, and it was the variety, sir. Okay,
Mm.
so podcast fans, I'm a humble myself to you. It wasn't just the contents; it was the variety and the things that I learned later in life that let me understand why, while I may have been an only child, it was not for lack of trying. So again, with that being said, RIH, rest in heaven, Mom. Love you to death. She was around for 33 years of my life and gave me a fantastic 33 years. So I am definitely the person that you made me, and everything that I have this evening that's good came from you. So again, my better than us human of the week and every week will be Dorothy Dennis.
Amazing. Amazing. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how they can find you?
Well, if you've not got enough of me in this podcast, you can find me on Facebook at Brian Stephen Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow, do me a friend request. As always, I try and keep a little light. This month, I always make a post daily on Black History Month. As you heard me say, February 17th, I was dedicated to my mom. Today's dedication was to New Edition. And if you don't know who they are, you have missed the boat. So you got to check out me on Facebook. And again, let's give New Edition a little bit of love. Or I like to say, we got to cool it now. Watch out. All right, sir. How about yourself?
All right, you can find me at on the Facebook as well as the Fandemic.
The Book
I'm
of
also
Faces.
active on the TikTok at Fandemic1. And Brian, I gotta tell you, I meant to tell you this earlier, but Stacy came into B&B.
I heard about this. Yes.
Yes. Talk to her. I'm gonna go. I'm hopefully gonna go over and talk about kids' books and stuff like that as well.
Very
So,
cool.
yes, it was awesome. It made my day. Definitely made my day. So, if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the Fandemic. Find us on Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. Become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a PreVenge producer like Stacy, or become part of the con. Yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds starting at $5 a month. You can go to PayPal and Venmo at Bradley Butin. And I didn't even say this. If you go to buymeacoffee.com, Brian and I will either toast you
Yes,
or
sir.
roast you on the
Absolutely.
next episode.
Absolutely.
Or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and keep the conversation alive in the comments. What would you do for I Am Legend before the actual movie happened? What's your favorite Will Smith movie? There are several to choose from, and we should all just give him a hand, really.
Just again, instead of this like flat with a lot of momentum, just one of those.
Because that's a half of a high five.
Yes. And I'm going to show you how brave I am right now. Watch this, Bradley. Jada Pinkett Smith. That's right.
That's right, man. I
put her name all in my mouth.
But you did look around.
I worried if you say her name like 3 times, maybe he shows up.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, let's not test that theory.
It's not.
Let's test that theory. By the way, Will, if you're listening, it's all jokes. It's all jokes, man. Grow through stupidity. Okay, it's not a choice. It's a lifestyle. All right, sir. So by the way, Fresh Prince, I Am Legend, Men in Black, Hancock. We've been pushing for a Hancock sequel since like day 2 of the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So Will, hey, my brother. Okay. Don't hate, participate.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Brian, I think we have hit max levels of awesome on this week. Let's end like we always do on a positive note. What are your words of wisdom?
As always, I want to thank you for joining us in the podcast. Hopefully it's the best part of your week. It's definitely the best part of ours. Remember, always keep it positive. Goonies never say die, and no retreat, no surrender.
We're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. Thanks for catching up. You're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty. Have a great day. And as Leia would say, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.